Alright, good morning guys. Back today with another video. Today we're doing a outdoor cooking video using a product that I really like and I really believe is beneficial to not only the backpacker camper but to a family. Now I personally have owned before and still use for every trip the Solo Stove backpacker stove. I can't remember the model name, but it's the backpacker. Recently, I was given by a friend the Solo Stove Campfire, which is the larger version of it. So today we're going to go over the Solo Stove Campfire, how to use it, and we're going to cook a small meal on it that you could cook with your family, say at a picnic or park if you're traveling somewhere. So, all right, let's get started. So first, we're going to build the fire. I got some fat wood, and I have some pre-cut wood that I'm going to use. So I'm going to go ahead and feather stick this fat wood, and we'll get going. So if you've never used a wood backpacking stove, they could be kind of tough to get started using if you're not familiar with cooking with wood. Getting started with backpacking, I always just use the butane camp stoves, which are great, and there's nothing wrong with them. But since I started going lightweight and minimal gear, I started using this Solo Stove, and it's been great because I don't have to worry about fuel. I can get it once I get there. I can pick it up along the way. It can be anything from pine cones to small sticks, dry sticks, wet sticks. This thing does such a good job of getting everything going that you can almost burn anything in there. So I'm getting this thing feathered up on both ends. What I'll do is I'll probably end up just breaking it in half and using it that way. I'm doing it over the Solo Stove, so anything that pops off falls in there. So let's see if I can give this a break. All right, my feather sticks are going to go in. I also have some paper with me. It's easy to store in there, so I'll throw a little bit of that paper in there to help it get started. And this top can come off, makes it easier to use. What I like about the campfire is you just don't have to cook on it. You can use it for warmth. You can use it to roast marshmallows. On my backpacker one, I've actually grilled a steak over top of it using a one of those grill pans. All right, so that's getting started. We'll let that fat wood catch, and we'll start adding stuff on top. So these chunks are a little bigger than what you need, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get them in there and burning so they can start burning down, and we'll get going on prepping our meal. So, all right, we'll let those get started and we'll be right back. All right guys, just to show you what else you can use, I went and picked up some sticks from my yard. These are about a little bigger than a thumb. I'm just gonna break these guys and show you how easy it is to cook with this stove. So you got a lot of smoke right now because that paper's burning, but I've already got a large flame, if you can see that. So we're gonna throw a couple of these sticks in there and get them going as well. Now, the thing about a wood gasifier, because this thing is double walled, the air gets sucked in from these bottom holes, brought in through the side and pushed out, so it actually helps ignite the smoke that's leaving. So once this gets going, we'll get a close-up of that so you can see. While that's burning down, I'm gonna go ahead and cut up the garlic and onions for what I'm making. What I'm gonna make is like a one pot rice hot dog, garlic, and onion mix. It's something we cook at home a lot, but we use the kielbasa, garlic, onions, and instead of rice, we use pasta. We like it. It's tasty. We usually broil it in the oven to get a nice crispy cheese layer on top. But today we're just going to make a one cast iron meal. So I'm roughly chopping the garlic. Doesn't need to be too minced. And then I'm going to cut some onion. So the knife I'm using today is my Mora. This was a thrift store find for me for $8. Good shape, blade profile still good. So for $8 for a Mora, you can't beat that. And it's a nice large one, good for camp chores. So I'm just going to dice these onions. They don't have to be perfect. All right, get those moved to the side. All right, and instead of kielbasa, we're using Hebrew National. Beef franks, you can't beat those. And we're gonna cut up 2 of these to use in this meal. All right, hot dogs cooked up. Now this meal will be good for, you know, 1-2 people. The kids like hot dogs. They're not a big fan of rice, but you know, they can pick around that. I find it to be a pretty hearty meal, especially if it's cold outside. And today it's about 40 degrees with a nice breeze. So let's go ahead and see how our fire's doing. Let's move out of the shadow here. So it's going pretty good. Burning down rather quickly. And we'll just let that continue to burn down a little bit until we have a nice smaller fire going. And we should be able to do most of our meal just with that. So we'll be back when this burns down. All right, guys, the fire is burned down a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and put the pot or pan holder on top. Now remember, this is going to be nice and hot, so be careful when you do it. The only thing you want to make sure nothing's sticking up over top of it. So I have my pan. I'm going to let that preheat for a little bit. While that was heating up, I went ahead and got together some regular smaller sticks to feed it with. The Solo stove does have an opening on the side that you can feed stuff in. And it's okay if it sticks out, it'll burn down. So you just need to work it in there. Now, because this is an efficient stove, you really need to make sure that you keep it fed, or you may find out that you've let it burn out. So go ahead and you can pack it full as tight as you want, and it'll burn down really well. So all right, the pan is on. I will go ahead and grab a little bit of canola oil just to put in to help with those onions and garlic. Go ahead and get the onions and garlic and put them into the pan. Get them. I like to get them started a little bit before the hot dogs so the hot dogs don't overcook. And really, I add the hot dogs just to get a little crispness to them. But we're going to end up adding some water for the rice anyway. Now, because essentially we're on high heat, you really need to be careful on, you know, how you're cooking. But those are doing good. I'm going to go ahead and get these hot dogs and get them put in. And the goal here is just to brown them. have a lot of jet noise in the back. I live close to an Air Force base. I'm not sorry for the jet noise. I appreciate the jet noise. So, if it gets a little loud, I am sorry for that, but that's the sound of freedom, isn't it? So already those garlic and onions are smelling wonderful. The hot dogs are browning up good. Let me just swing you in over here so you can see them. So this is what we're looking like. I'm pretty sure you can hear it. Looking pretty good. I don't want to brown them too much, so I'm going to keep moving. And I'm going to go ahead and add my water for the rice. All right, we're back in view here. All right, I got a half a cup of rice, and I have some water that I went ahead and put a bouillon cube in, a chicken bouillon cube. I'm gonna get that about half a cup put in there, along with this rice. So essentially the goal is just to get this rice boiling. This is minute rice, so it shouldn't take too long to get going. And the goal is just to let the rice thicken up the hot dogs and onions. Once it starts thickening up, I'm going to add some cheese. And I have a little bit of heavy whipping cream. Heavy whipping cream adds a nice little creamy flavor to it. So I'm going to go ahead and add that heavy whipping cream to it. Not much. Probably right at a quarter cup to get that mixed in. Like I said, we're on high. All right, everybody, things are looking good here. As you can see, everything is evaporating well. I'm gonna let it go just so I can get a little bit of crispy on the bottom. I'll flatten it out a little bit so it evens up. And I'm going to add some cheese. So let me get you set up again, and we will add some cheese to this bad boy. All right, I got some cheddar cheese, and we're just going to add it to the top of it and let it melt. Like I said, I'm going to let it get a little crusty on the bottom. Everybody likes that crust, so we'll just let that melt. Kind of stab it in just a little bit. You have a little bit of that canola oil kind of coming to the top. Oil from the hot dogs. And we are just about done. I'm going to pull this off and just let it continue to melt. And I haven't added any more wood since the last time, so we've done a pretty good job of keeping our fire going. All right, so you can see we still have a little bit of fire. It's still extremely hot. And here's our meal. That looks pretty good. So guys, overall, I think we spent 5 minutes letting the fire cook down to a nice bit of coals, and 10 minutes at the most cooking this. So I'm gonna let that crisp up a little bit, and then we'll come back for a taste test here in a minute. All right, so let's get a bite of our dish here. Try to get some of that crunchy at the bottom. Nice and cheesy. Hot dog, onion, rice, and garlic. That's good. Rice cooked all the way through. Got some of the crunchies on the bottom. can't beat a good Hebrew National hot dog. And who doesn't like rice and cheese? So, thanks guys for watching. Stay tuned. We have a sous vide cheesecake coming up this weekend that we'll be making with the kids. And if you want to see anything else, please let me know. I know we have a steak, a sous vide steak cook coming up, and we're going to let you guys decide how you want us to sear it. We have option of charcoal, or I have a propane sear plate. So let me know. Until then, enjoy your family, enjoy the craziness, and keep going with your hobbies. Have a good day.